While Yuji Naka and Mark Cerny, yes, that one, were working on my favourite game of all time at Sega America, Naoto Oshima, the guy who came up with Sonic's original design, was working on his own follow-up to Sonic 1 with a separate team at Sega Japan. I don't make a habit of talking about a game's development cycle, but supposedly Sonic CD was pitched as everything from a rival Sonic 2 proposal, to an enhanced version of Sonic 1, to the product we eventually ended up with. It's certainly a confusing story with multiple conflicting tales and sources, but how did that impact the game we got? Unlike last time, I won't be exploring every version of Sonic CD, because there just aren't that many ways to play this one. Essentially, you're going to be playing one of 4 releases, and this time there's a clear winner for the best way to play it. The original Mega CD release is going to set you back a pretty penny in terms of both hardware and software. There's a 90s PC release that I've never actually seen in the wild, and I'm not sure would even run on modern PCs without some kind of fan-made effort. Sonic Gems Collection was practically sold solely on being the easiest and cheapest way to finally play the borderline mythical Sonic CD at the time. And then finally, we have the Christian Whitehead release for Steam, PS3, Xbox 360, and mobile. All of the footage in this review is from that Steam release. Now, I know I slammed the Whitehead port of Sonic 2, and for good reason, but I honestly can't fault his work on Sonic CD. The shifting gameplay focus, something we'll talk about later on, makes the widescreen display damn near essential. Being available on consoles and PC immediately eliminates the frustrations I had playing and recording footage from his version of Sonic 2. It's also the most feature-complete version of the game, containing both soundtracks, spin dash options, and the ability to play as Tails. That said, it's not perfect. The opening and ending cutscenes have been cropped from 4:3 to 16:9 as if this is a DVD release of Dragon Ball Z, and the Japanese opening and ending songs have had their lyrics removed, seemingly being replaced with karaoke versions. While there are save slots, you don't get a level select or anything when you beat the game, so loading a completed save only lets you fight the final boss again. There may be other overly specific inaccuracies like those I found in Sonic 2, but I honestly don't know Sonic CD well enough to have noticed any. Overall, it's the cheapest, most readily available, and best version of the game you can currently buy. Taking place between the events of Sonic 1 and 2, according to the history of Sonic the Hedgehog anyway, Sonic and Amy Rose travel to Never Lake. Sonic's curious about Little Planet, a world that appears over the lake at the end of each month, and the time stones it's home to. When they arrive, they find Robotnik's badniks running rampant, and Amy's kidnapped by Metal Sonic. Although why Sonic's not able to save her is a mystery. Dude's right there, come on, hit him! Rescuing Amy is easy enough, but saving Little Planet will require getting heavily involved with Sonic CD's unique gameplay changes, with the main one being time travel. The back of the box claims there are over 70 levels, because each stage has 4 variants in different time zones. You start every level in the present, but you can use special signposts to travel to the past or future versions of the zone. By default, the future will be bleak and unpleasant, kind of like 2020 so far, but you can transform it into a good future by venturing into the past and destroying both a badnik generator and a projection of Metal Sonic. This is trickier than it sounds. First, you need to find a pass sign, which are quite rare. Then you need to maintain Sonic's top speed for long enough to hit 88 miles an hour and time travel. If you drop your speed at the last second thanks to a wall, spikes, or an enemy, you need to find another signpost. There are some areas where you can easily cheese your way into the past, but more often than not, this will be the trickiest part. Once you're in the past, you've then got to find and destroy the objects. Depending on the level, this can be incredibly tedious, especially in a stage like Wacky Workbench, where the gimmicks make it difficult to navigate with any degree of precision. This means the level designs are much more maze-like and interconnected than in any other Sonic game. It can be very easy to lose your bearings or get frustrated, even with the widescreen view of the Whitehead release. Destroying the badnik generator removes enemies from the level, while destroying the Metal Sonic projector makes animals return. Considering Robotnik needs a constant supply of animals to transform into his robot minions, it seems somewhat counterproductive for him to leave what's essentially a scarecrow out, but whatever. It also creates a good future, which you'll likely never visit. To get to the good future of a stage, you'd need to time travel to the past, complete the tasks there, find a future sign to get back to the present, and then find another future sign to time travel again to get to the good future. It's not something I can ever see happening through natural gameplay. Especially as, and I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this, you're still under the classic Sonic 10-minute timer. Yeah, if you take more than 10 minutes in the stage, you die. Oh, that seems incompatible with the exploration and the new stuff they want you to do with the generators and the time travel and everything else? Yeah, it kind of is! If you don't want to bother with all of that because it sounds frustrating and tedious, and in my experience it really is that annoying, you can collect the Time Stones instead. These work almost exactly like the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic 1. Finish a stage with 50 rings and jump through the giant ring at the end to be transported to a special stage. For the time, this pseudo-3D level would have been impressive. The Mega Drive wasn't known for scaling and rotation. Mode 7 was really a Super Nintendo thing, and boy did they lord it over us. But the Mega CD was able to handle it quite well. These days, the Whitehead release smooths it out even further. Sadly, they're aggravating to actually play. You need to destroy 6 UFOs by jumping at them. It's incredibly hard to judge depth and distances, UFOs have erratic movement patterns, and there are traps on the floor that screw you over. Technically impressive as they may have been, I hated these special stages. You can't unlock Supersonic in this game. Instead, collecting all 7 Time Stones automatically destroys the Badnik generators, but not the Metal Sonic projectors for some reason. Word of warning, this means you can lock yourself out of the Savior of the Planet achievement by going for the stones and generators in the same playthrough. Trust me, I found out the hard way and I'm still sour about it. Both routes also let you watch the good ending. Let's say you decide a different ending cutscene isn't worth investing in a new and awkward emphasis on exploration or rage-inducing special stages. You just want to go from A to B in the fastest possible time. You can do that, however there are some drawbacks. First up, this is the easiest classic Sonic game by a country mile. To encourage and facilitate exploration, there aren't that many badniks or hazards that will outright kill you. As a result, you can breeze through most of the zones. Or rather, you could if you didn't have to keep slowing down on purpose. You'll need to jump around past and future signs to avoid accidentally time travelling, and if you do hit one, you have to keep slowing down before the warp kicks in, and hope you don't hit an automated speed segment where you won't have a choice in the matter. It'll also be over before you know it. My more traditional playthrough clocked in at just under 40 minutes, compared to my air quotes completionist playthrough of around 2 hours. Despite being on a CD with higher storage capacities, you've got just 7 zones here compared to the cartridge-based Sonic 2's 12. Those zones will look very familiar too. Palm Tree Panic outright is Green Hill, Collision Chaos is Spring Yard, Tidal Tempest is clearly Labyrinth, Stardust Speedway resembles Starlight Zone, and Metallic Madness straight up is Scrap Brain. These striking resemblances are the reason I'd happily believe the rumours that this project was at one point just an enhanced Sonic 1. I can almost see the artist scrambling to change the levels just enough to be passed off as new areas when that direction was changed. Ultimately, in trying to cater for every possible playstyle, preference, and possibly corporate mandate, the developers ended up pleasing no one. All of the different approaches interfere with each other. Sonic CD is a game that's constantly tripping over itself. Even the boss battles are rather mixed. There are some interesting ones, to be sure. Racing Metal Sonic has become one of Sonic's most well-known and respected showdowns. The final boss is okay, albeit short-lived, and this battle has an interesting dynamic where Robotnik's shield is also your oxygen supply, so you both become more vulnerable as the fight goes on. Problem is, there are too many fights that are over before they've begun, or where you're not really fighting Robotnik, but the environment or a hazard where our villain just so happens to be watching. At its absolute best, Sonic CD is merely inoffensive. At its worst, it's frustrating, tedious, and annoying. Seriously guys, you can skip this one, and it does not deserve its lauded reputation among the fanbase. I know that's a strong statement, and you're probably already typing an angry comment about how wrong I am, but that's how I feel about this one, guys. I myself once treated Sonic CD as this legendary game I wished I could play, but once I actually got my hands on it, I had to be honest with myself and admit I wasn't impressed. Thankfully, there are still some fantastic entries in the series to come, and I hope you'll stick around as we continue to explore the Hedgehog's history. If you want to be the first to know when new videos are out, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell, all that.